What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do 3 looks with the So Jaded Colourpop palette in collaboration with Kathleen Lights. I'm a little tiny smidgen, little scoochy woochy late to the party on this one. Reason being, I waited too long to order it the first time it launched and I had to wait for them to restock. So hopefully you guys are still interested in seeing some looks with this palette. I've gotten a lot of requests for looks with this palette over the last couple of weeks, so hopefully that means the interest is still there. If you have purchased it recently or still have your eye on it, I think it's still in stock right now. I'm not certain. If it is, I'll link it below. As usual, I'm going to do 3 looks with it, and then at the end I'll do a little review, what I think of it. It's like, you know, it's a first impression, but it's a pretty thorough first impression because I've done 3 looks by the end of the video. As always, I will timestamp each look plus the review down below in the description. I'll also list all of the products that I use outside of this palette in the video on my face and stuff if you're curious about that. That will all be down there as well. Before we get started, please don't forget to leave a like on this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to take your chicken out of the freezer and defrost it for your dinner. Don't forget to move your car if there is alternate side parking in your neighborhood, and always wear your seatbelt. I think that's all the important information that I need to tell you before we get into the first look. So let's get started. Look number 1, which is this look with the Kathleen Lights So Jaded Colourpop palette. I've had this palette for a couple of days and I've already dipped into a few of the shades, so it's not super fresh for me to show you guys what it looks like on camera, but this is what the inside of the palette looks like. I'm excited that this palette has a Super Shock in it right up here, this shade Diamond. Really like when they put Super Shock shadows into their palettes. And another thing that I'm a little bit excited about with this one is there are 2 pressed glitter shades in here, and one of them, as usual, is not eye safe, but this other one, Opal, is eye safe. So I can feel free to put that all over my eyelid with the shadows and not have to worry about it, which I really, really like. So for the first look today, I want to portray kind of like a candy apple vibe, if that makes sense. Not candy apple, caramel apple. Those are so delicious. So I'm gonna play with some of the browns and greens in here and then pair it up with a more caramel colored lip. To start that off, I'm gonna go into this shade You're a Gem right here, and I'm picking that up on my BH number 6, which is what I usually start my crease area with. I'm gonna start by pushing that right into the crease area and above it, and then I'm gonna blend it out in a second with a clean brush. Next, I'm going to take a MAC 221S brush and I'm going to go into the shade Geodude. Put that a little bit deeper into the crease just to, I want to see how those 2 colors play together, if that will give me a little bit more definition. Might not quite be dark enough, but it'll do well on the outer corner of the eye. So let's put that there. On my Sigma E36 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Jade. And I'm going to put that in the same shape, but a little bit more concentrated like I usually do. I'm going to create a little bit of a cut on the inner portion. I just put a little bit of my concealer on the back of my hand. This is just the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. To be honest, this concealer is one of my recent favorites for my skin, but not necessarily one of my favorites to do a cut crease with, but I don't have any other concealer that's really light right now that's not like all dried up. So that's what we're using. I'm using my NABLA Cut Crease Maker brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut the inner portion, because I want to do kind of like a pop of color on the inner corner, but I want it to have a little bit more structure and shape. So when I cut that, I wound up going a little bit higher than I had the darkest crease shade. When I wind up doing that by accident, like if I want the crease shade to still be above the line, what I like to do is take a little tiny brush. This is a Sigma E06 winged liner brush. I'm just going to tap it into that jade shade. I'm just going to run it right along the top outside of where we cut that crease and blend it right back into the crease color on the outer half. Now I'm going to take my MAC 221S brush and I'm going to go into the shape Peridot. This is the color that I'm like excited for this look, you know? That was the one that I looked at this and I was like, I'll look with that, yes indeed. And I'm just going to press that over where we put down that concealer to cut the crease. Next to that, I'm going to go into the shade Tiger Eye right here. This is like a brown with a little bit of a green shift in it, and I'm going to place that down next to Peridot and blend that like down into where we put those outer corner colors. Just gonna tap back and forth over those two colors to blur where one ends and the other begins. I'm also gonna grab this tiny little pencil brush from e.l.f. and I'm gonna go into the shade Diamond, which is this top corner shade here. It's the one Super Shock shadow in the palette. I'm just taking a tiny bit of that shade. I'm just gonna pop it right in the center of the lid over that bright green color, just to give it a little bit of a highlight and bring that part of the lid forward. And for the last step on the top portion of the lid, I'm going to add a wing. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Perversion Waterproof Brush Tip Liner. I really need to get a new one of these. I literally crushed the brush to smithereens and I just keep using it. Okay, I put some concealer. I put a lot of powder under my eyes just in case, because I haven't noticed a lot of fallout so far, but there has been a lot of kickback in the pans, which often leads to a lot of fallout, so I'm trying to be careful. I'm gonna pick up my Luxie 121 brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Carnelian, and I'm gonna take that color and I'm gonna use that to smoke out the lower lash line, because it kind of has that same kind of like warm brown caramelly tone as what we used in the crease, except that it's a little bit darker, so I think it'll give us a little bit more definition. And with a clean blending brush, I'm just gonna buff the edge of that out. You know, I was just thinking about it and I was like, it would be cool if I could put like a caramel color eyeliner through my waterline. I don't think I own like a caramel brown eyeliner, like a pencil anyway. Isn't that weird? I feel like I should, but I don't think I do. In light of the lack of caramel colored, I'm gonna go in with Urban Decay Torch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I use this pencil so much, okay? I'm sorry. I'm gonna grab a clean pencil brush that I haven't used yet today, and I'm gonna go back into the shade Peridot around the inner tear duct area and then sweep it down into the lower lash line a little bit. I'm gonna pick up that Luxie brush again and use that to go back and forth with that orangey shade and just soften it so it blends between the two. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, and then I'm gonna add some lashes and finish up the skin, and we will add like a delicious-y caramel juicy nude to this. Okay, I put on House of Lashes ALLURA lashes, just finished up my skin with my usual products. I'll list all of my skin products, my base products that I use in this video in the description as usual, by the way. And like I said, for the lip, I would be remiss not to pair this with the Juicy Nude in the more caramel variety. And what better color to use than Salted Caramel from Bite Beauty from their French press gloss line. Love these lip glosses, they smell like coffee. But first I'm gonna line my lips with the Haus Labs Rip Lip Pencil in the color Rule. I have such a hard time saying Rip Lip Pencil without screwing it up. I don't know why, but I think this is gonna make like a nice caramel combo. And this is the first look. For look number 2, I want to do something that sort of resembles the night sky. I'm going to start by putting down a very neutral, very light transition shade. So I'm going into the color Rose Quartz on, this is the Rose Quartz collection brush too. Wow, we're on theme. This is a BH number 5 brush. And I'm just going to start by putting that through the general crease area and up. My MAC 221S brush, I'm going to go into the shade Turquoise. I'm going to put that around the crease area as well. That's very pretty. And I'm going to do a little bit of like a flicked out shape at the end with that, just using my brush to just go whoop. And again, with a clean brush, just going to go over the edges of that just to soften it up a little bit. Next, on my trusty Sigma E36, I'm going to go into the shade Sapphire and go around the same shape, but keeping it more concentrated. The inner portion looks kind of like a hot mess right now, but that's okay because we are going to cover that with other shadows. For example, I'm going to take my flat MAC brush. This is the 272S. I always forget the name and I rubbed it off with my fingers. I'm going to go into the shade Onyx. I'm going to pack that on the outer portion of the mobile lid. I'm going to do the same thing on the inner corner. Just cleaned off that same brush. I'm gonna go into the shade Anthracite. That one is kind of like a purple blue duochrome, and I'm just gonna pop that right in the center where we have that space left. I did the same thing on the other eye and I cleaned up some of the fallout with just a makeup wipe, and now I want to do something with the glitter. I do have to say that for some reason this eye does not want to cooperate. It does not want to participate with the rest of the class right now. It is just giving me a very hard time, but I'm hoping that it all comes together a little bit more once we put glitter and lashes, because glitter and lashes can pretty much fix anything. So I'm going to apply this glitter two ways. I'm going to start with using my finger and putting it in the most concentrated spot. So I'm going to dip my ring finger into the glitter shade Opal, and I'm going to press that right into the center of my lid where I want it the most concentrated. Oh my god, that shade is beautiful. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Now that that's down in the most concentrated spot with my finger, I'm gonna pick up a stippling brush and I'm gonna go into the glitter directly, and I'm going to press that glitter with the stippling brush over the rest of the eyeshadow. Then I'm just gonna tap over that with my finger and make sure that it is laying down flat on the lid, because sometimes the brush doesn't like push it flush to your skin because it's a brush. Okay, BH number 7 brush. I'm gonna go into turquoise again, and then I'm just going to run that under my lower lash line, just like we did on the top, as like the lighter of the two blues. I'm gonna grab my NABLA small pencil brush and go back into Sapphire. Please just take a second to note that this palette is getting so messy so fast. This is the most kickbacky palette I've ever used from Colourpop. Taking Sapphire on that small pencil brush, I'm just gonna run it really close to the lower lashes. And on that same pencil brush, I'm gonna go into Opal. I'm just tapping very lightly into that. And I'm also gonna flick some of it off to make sure it's not too intense. I'm gonna press that over those shadows just like we did on the top lid. For the waterline, I'm going to pick up one of my Urban Decay 24/7 pencils. This is the color Mainline. I think it's a nice shade to go along with the colors that we used on the lid. I'm just gonna run that through my waterline. I'm also gonna run that through my tight line just to kind of, you know, match it all up. I'm gonna take that on a Luxie 111 mini and pop that right on my inner corner. I don't wanna do too much, just like to brighten it a touch. I'm gonna go finish this up on the other side. I'm gonna add some lashes, and then we can pair this with whatever lip seems right, whatever lip feels good. I put on the COLEY Cosmetics Brooklyn Lash. These lashes are gorgeous, but they're like very big, so I always feel like they need to be paired with a big look, and I felt like this was the look for that. And I do want to keep the lip a little on the neutral side still. But this time I want to make it matte, and I think that the tone needs to be kind of cool to play into the whole night sky vibe we've got going on the eyes. So I'm going to line my whole lip and fill them in with the Rosy Magnolia lip pencil from NABLA Cosmetics. My lips have been as dry as the desert floor for like 2 months now, and I really cannot put my finger on what is happening to them because they're never like this usually, and I've been using all of the same stuff. So I'm going to do the matte lip with the lip pencil. I might dab some balm over the center though, because it's just sometimes with like these freaking cracking ass dry lips, I can't, I gotta. So we'll see what happens, but that might have to happen. And this is the second look. Time for look number 3. I feel like my entire life is covered in glitter from the last look. It's everywhere. It's in my hands, it's in my brush, it's in my rug. So I'm gonna start the third look by going into the shade Family Jewels. I'm using my BH number 6 as usual. Just barely putting anything down slightly above the crease, because I'm gonna try to do like a couple of different colors around, like blend it out from the crease, and I just want to have something nice for them to blend out into that's not like a sticky concealer. I'm gonna pick up my Luxie 121 brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Citrine. And I'm going to place that kind of where my inner corner meets the bridge of my nose, like above the crease in there, and like blend it into the front of my brow. In general, it seems like the colors in this palette are a little bit on the toned down side, which I actually was not expecting, but they're a little bit more muted than I thought they were gonna be. On the MAC 217 brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Ametrite, this shade is interesting because it's one of those shades that's like a matte, but it has like a little sprinkle of shimmer in there, like little micro fine glitters. It probably will still read as a matte, but it has like a little something in there. I'm gonna take that shade and I'm gonna put it toward the outer portion of my crease. My MAC 221 brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Garnet. Put that in the outer half of the crease itself and a little bit down onto the outer corner of the lid. I'm gonna go into the shade Carnelian. I'm gonna use that to add a little bit of depth to the inner portion of the crease area. I'm gonna take a little bit of Carnelian and put it on the inner corner of the actual lid. I'm gonna do the same with a little bit more of Ametrine. Now with all of these like soft shades blended out, I just want to take this little center portion here and just make it a pop of shimmer. So I'm gonna go into the Super Shock shadow called Diamond on my finger. I'm just gonna press that into the center where that lid is still bare. And then I'm going to lightly tap it over the edges of those two matte shades that we put down. This is not, I had no idea that I was gonna do like such a soft, like watercolory kind of a thing with this, but I'm not upset about it. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna take the same MAC 217 brush, and I'm gonna go back into the shade Ametrine, which is this one here, and I'm gonna put that on the lower lashes, only on the outer half. Blend that up toward where we put it in the top. And I'm taking that same Luxie brush from earlier, and I'm gonna go back into the shade Carnelian again, and just do the inner portion of the lower lash line with that, kind of hooking it right around in the tear duct area. For the waterline, I just want to make it bright and open and airy, so I'm going to pick up my Tarte Fake Awake pencil. Whatever nude pencil you want to use will work. And for the inner corner, I'm going to use the shade Diamond again, because I think that if I layer this over the orange, it's going to give us a very different effect than it did in the center of the lid. So I'm going to pick a little bit of that up on a pencil brush and just pop that on the inner corner. Just gonna go and finish up the other eye, add some lashes, and then we will figure out what lip to put with this. I feel like something very light and glossy is in order, but we'll see. Okay, I went back to the House of Lashes ALLURA lashes, and for the lip I decided I do indeed want to keep it very simple and glossy. So instead of even lining them today, I'm just gonna blot off a little bit of lip balm that I have, and I'm gonna go straight in with the Fenty Gloss Balm in the color Diamond Milk, because it has no color to it whatsoever. It just has that little bit of shimmer, and honestly, it's one of the sexiest glosses I think ever of all time. It's very beautiful. And this little soft number here is the third look. Three looks down, time to talk about what's going on with this palette. So in general, the quality of this palette is just about on par with what I would expect from a Colourpop palette, but I have to say that I feel like the mattes in this palette are maybe a touch more powdery than I usually expect. Specifically the more mid-tone ones, the deeper, brighter matte shades were absolutely fine. Just the ones like Garnet and Ametrine though, I feel like they had a tendency to blend away a little bit too easily. They weren't wildly difficult to work with, but just compared to what I'm used to from Colourpop, I felt like they just didn't quite have that same richness that I'm accustomed to seeing from their mattes. The shimmers, as usual, absolutely stunning. The Super Shock color Diamond, honestly, one of my favorite Super Shock shadows that I think I've tried ever. It's very, very pretty, and I can see it being a really nice versatile shade just to throw over your whole lid for like a faux glossy lid kind of a look if that's what you're looking for. It's really, really pretty. I'm so excited that the one color of pressed glitter in here is Eye Safe. We love an Eye Safe glitter. Absolutely so stoked that that's the case with that one. I wish Topaz was too, because oh my god, that looks so bomb across the lid, but whatever. For some reason, when I saw this palette online, I had the impression that it was more colorful than it actually is. Now that I've played with it, it's kind of a little bit more muted than I was expecting. Now, depending on who you are, that can make this palette a little bit more boring, or it can make it a little bit more approachable. It really depends on just what you prefer in your makeup. And don't get me wrong, there are some colors in here that are like bam in your face colors, like Peridot. Oh my God, that was like beautiful foiled bright greenish shade. Love it. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you picked up this palette, if you decided to skip it, what you think and why. I would love to hear about it. Also, leave me a comment down below if you're excited about Norvina Volume 2 and 3 coming out this week, because I am very excited for them since I love the first one so much. When you see this, it'll either be Thursday or Friday, and I will probably have gone to Sephora to pick them up already. And I plan on having 3 looks with each of those palettes out ASAP. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on those upcoming videos, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you around. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave a like on it because it's very helpful to me and I would really appreciate it. And if you would like to keep up with me between these videos, go ahead and find me on Instagram. I'm at Ms. Quinface. I post other things over there that you don't always see here on this channel, behind the scenes on my stories, PR unboxings, more intricate lip art, stuff like that. If you're into that kind of a thing, come find me over there. I would love to have you. I do believe that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these 3 looks. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.